1.2 million learners across the country have today written history as the country's first junior secondary school students in the CBC transition. The learners reported to schools amidst a looming teachers shortage. The government, however, says that the teachers to be deployed in the course of the week are adequate to start off the junior secondary school learning as it seeks to improve both on the manpower and infrastructural demands of junior secondary school in Kenya. Brenda Wanga has more.
Months of planning and weeks of waiting have led to this day, the first day of the junior secondary school education in Kenya. The 1.2 million children across Kenya who sat the grade 6 assessment crossing over to the next level of their education, making that transition from primary to secondary school the first transition of its kind under the CBC curriculum. Their expectations soaring as high as their dreams.
My expectations of myself now in grade 7 is to pass my fellow classmates because I want to go to a very good school when I finish grade 9.
My expectations for the exam is to excel in my studies.
Many schools spend the first day of this transition admitting the learners to the thousands of primary schools that qualified to host junior secondary, with school administrations beating their own path in these uncharted territories with the limited resources available to them. According to the Ministry of Education, a number of schools failed to meet the qualification of hosting JSS and have to merge with others, leaving the host schools with an added burden.
This is likely to raise our population, which is already very...
Aside from the classrooms, the schools are also grappling with other infrastructural challenges that parents now have to find a way of fixing.
Hawa watoto walipokuwa grade 6 walikuwa wanatumia the traditional desks ambazo watoto watano wanakaa deski moja. Kwa vile wamekuja junior secondary, sidhani kama itafaa wanafunzi kukalia nafasi kama hiyo.
But while the schools seek ways of making ends meet, the bigger challenge now remains the teaching staff. The government has pledged to post a teacher per class across all public schools in the country. Critics have questioned the rationale behind the postings, as each grade 7 class will have 12 core learning areas and 2 optionals, leaving each teacher with a heavy workload. And even with that shortcoming, learning in public schools for JSS students is unlikely to start immediately.
Kufikia saa hizi hakuna mwalimu ambaye tumepokea amekuwa posted hapa kufunza junior secondary.
The government also has provided us one teacher per school in public schools, in public primary schools, whereby they are able to teach the junior secondary school children.
The Cabinet Secretary for Education seeking to assure the public that this will be addressed as a matter of urgency as the government moves to ensure that no child is locked out of school.
That no principal, no board of management, no parent association, no any other person will be authorized to come up with unnecessary levies as registration fees.
In facilitating learning for the JSS students, the government says its capitation of 15,000 shillings will be sufficient to cater for all the needs of public day schools. At the same time, the government says parents should not be asked to buy extra textbooks, as the 17 million textbooks provided for by the government are already on their way to schools. The government also tapping into the help of her development partners to build and equip laboratories.
One of our development partners is already working with us to do more than 7,000 integrated learning centers, which we call laboratories.
Because we don't expect the junior secondary to mingle with the primary students. We expect them to have their own institution of learning, their own governance, and their own area of jurisdiction.
At the same time, the government has instructed schools to allow parents and students adequate time to acquire the necessary school uniforms for the junior secondary schools. On the first day of the junior secondary school transition, and the Cabinet Secretary for Education says that while it has gotten off to a rocky start, there will be time to make sure that everything falls in place and this second phase of the CBC transition goes off well. Brenda Wanga, Citizen TV, Nairobi.